The UFC returns to Seattle, Washington with a pretty, it's an Apex card with a decent little main event on top of it. Pyfer versus Adesanya. That it is really carrying the card here. There's nothing much else, to be honest. But I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my prediction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of... Just kidding. This ain't MMA Guru. This is SpotMMA. The inaugural breakdown, the inaugural prediction video, and the inaugural video on this YouTube channel. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. We ain't doing no editing. We're just going to raw dog this one. Starting with the early prelim opener of Aydesanya versus Bruna Brazil. There is an idea of Bruna Brazil. There really is. There is an idea of this woman who's just going to come in here with her Muay Thai and fuck everyone up. But we know it. We know the deal. The cat's out of the bag. She can't fight. And it's unfortunate. I had a lot of hype on Bruna Brazil. I thought she was going to be one of these guys. I thought she was going to be a champ when she got the head kick on the Contender Series. Her career's been pretty much downhill since then. She comes in. I'm going to check the Tapology. I'm pretty sure she got knocked out by Denise Gomes in her debut. If that's right. Let's see. Yeah, she got destroyed by Denise Gomes in her debut. It's not terrible. She's been pretty hit or miss since then. Shanna Bannon sucks, Luma Lookboom isn't really that good, so you shouldn't really be losing to her in the big 2024. Molly McCann sucks, unfortunately, even though she's kind of funny. Wang Kong, that was a good little... Hold on now. She still lost the fight, but Ming Shi, that was a pretty hyped up prospect. That made everyone kind of think that she was going to get back on track, and then she loses to Caitlin Souza. She can't grapple. I don't know why she is a mixed martial arts fighter. She's from the Fighting Nerds gym, and she sucks. Aydesanya, she's all right, She beat Molly McCann, submitted her in like a round, I'm pretty sure, in her debut. Yeah, she pinned her in 4 minutes. Beat Loma Lookboom in the last fight. Completely forgot that happened, to be honest. But she's solid. She's a good grappler. She should get this one done by decision, we'll say. I don't think Bruna Brazil is going to go out there and, allow herself to get rear naked choked. She could. There could be some money there on a little Aydesanya submission, but I severely doubt it. I'm going to go Aydesanya decision. Moving up the card. One of the best fights on the card, and it's the second fight on the card. So that's how you know we're in for a good one. Camera's all messed up. My desk is very wobbly, but it's okay. It's the first video. We have to improve from here. You gotta start somewhere, as they say. Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez, a fight that you could have sworn has happened 5 times already, hasn't. I said it's a tricky one because once again there's an idea of Adrian Yanez. And he just hasn't really been able to live up to the hype. I'm going to go with the slight favorite in Ricky Simón. He's from Seattle. And last time he was in Seattle, he murdered Javid Basharat. One of the nastiest KOs you'll ever see. And I think it's a pretty easy pick. I think he's going to be able to mix up the grappling. I think he'll be able to stand his own on the feet. Get some crafty little leg kicks going. Big meaty overhand. And craft it up with 29-28. I was going to say 30-27, but Yanez will give him trouble. We'll say in the second round, I think he'll be able to stuff some of those takedowns and mix it up on the feet. 29-28 for Ricky Simón. Next fight up, the white Adesanya, Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. Hold on now, the Brazilian cowboy. Does anyone even know that's his nickname? I doubt it. Bruno Lopez sucks. That's pretty much just it. Navajo Sterling should get a KO, which means he'll win 30-27. Tappy, leg kick decision, I think. Navajo Sterling, I don't want to keep saying this, but there is an idea of Navajo Sterling, and he just hasn't really been able to put together that big performance in the UFC. I don't think that this is going to be it. It could be. It should be. Like, this is what the UFC is trying to do. They're trying to get him to get a big KO, then they give him a big jump up the rankings, but he just hasn't been able to do it. So I think we'll see him just kind of continue this slow build up the division, and he'll get a 30-27. He'll rock Bruno Lopez a couple times, maybe like a couple knockdowns. Sorry, but he won't be able to finish him, I don't think. Moving up. Hold on now. Casey the King O'Neill versus Gabby Fernandez. This is a close one, man. It really is. You know, they got Casey O'Neill as the favorite. Gabriela Fernandez does hit kind of hard. And in women's MMA, that is just a big fact. It'll carry you a long way. Do I think it'll carry her to a win over Casey O'Neill? I think it will. I think she'll be able to kind of go in there with the big meaty hooks, you know, kind of just throw ugly overhands, make it really ugly, terrible to watch, and she'll win a 29-28 decision, I think. Because Casey O'Neill, she's never done anything impressive. She has a really impressive record, but it's like, how is she 10-2? You know? Can you name her 5 UFC wins? Stop it. You're lying. You can't. Because I can't. I don't know why I said it like I'm the all-knower of UFC, but, you know, she beat Luana Santos. That's a good win, actually. That was like 2 years ago at this point, coming on. Jesus Christ. Dricus du Plessis versus Adesanya was almost 2 years ago. That is crazy. But I'm going to go with Gabriela Fernandez. Nothing really to talk about. Women's MMA fight. Flyweight women's MMA, which is arguably the best division in women's MMA, but I'm going to go Gabriela Fernandez, just chucking overhand rights, and maybe it'll be a robbery. Maybe that'll be the talking point of this fight, that it's like a robbery and she shouldn't have actually won, but yeah, I'm going to go with Gabriela Fernandez pretty comfortably, I think. Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I don't know who this guy is. I'm going to be real. He's never fought in the UFC. He has gotten knocked out by UFC legend Tim Johnson. And he has been heel hooked. And that's all I know about him. Marcin Tybura. We all know Marcin Tybura. The crafty vet of heavyweight. The gatekeeper of all gatekeepers at heavyweight. And this just seems like a fight that he'll win. Whether it's a submission, I doubt it. Tybura hasn't really been able to finish anyone. Actually, he submitted around to Denise. That's a pretty good win. I'm going to go with Marcin Tybura, second round submission, heel hook. That was me shooting my shot on that awesome prediction with the exact round 2 heel hook submission. I'm calling it. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to get that heel. He's going to twist. He's going to put it between his love handles, and it's gone. He's just going to rip that thing off. And then maybe he'll do Walter Walker versus Marcin Tybura again. They'll rebook it. And then there'll be a little more to talk about because Marcin Tybura is coming off a heel hook against the heel hook guy. Could be fun. Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. This is a layup. This is a layup for Chase Hooper. I mean, that's the only thing to talk about here. Lance Gibson Jr. had a terrible fight against Bobby Green. He didn't really do anything. He could have won. That was when Bobby Green was coming off a lot of KOs, and he was kind of really gun-shy in that fight, but Lance Gibson just was not able to take care of business there, and I don't think he'll be able to do anything against Chase Hooper. I don't think he really has that much pop, you know, because I think if you have pop, you're kind of trusting it against Bobby Green there. You're trusting yourself to kind of be able to stand there and stand and bang with Bobby Green a little bit, but, you know, he didn't even do anything in that fight. He just let it go away from him and to try to get a second shot in the UFC. Because he'll know he'll get another shot. But a Canadian brother, not because he's black, just because he's Canadian. But yeah, Chase Hooper is just gonna take him down and submit him in round 1. I don't even think there's gonna be any. I don't think there's gonna be any striking exchanges at all in this fight. I think Chase Hooper's gonna go out there in the first 30 seconds, shoot a takedown, get a single leg, and just darce him. I don't think Lance Gibson Jr. is UFC caliber. Moving up, Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tufik Musyaev. Guy's a dog outside the UFC. He was probably on steroids before he got in the UFC. I'm gonna be real. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, because that's the case with most of these guys. You know, they come in, whoa, big KOs, big flashy stuff. You know, is he from one? He's from, I do believe he's from one. I gotta check the Tapology page here. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Ryzen. Whoops, got my Asian promotions mixed up. But, you know, he got Kamura and took him down by Overrated instantly. And Ignacio is really good. I really like Ignacio Bahamondes. He kind of got schooled a little bit, kind of got shown levels by Rafael Fiziev, but I think Fiziev is very good, you know? I don't think he's very good. We know Fiziev is very good. We know he's like a top 10 kind of guy. Ignacio Bahamondes is a great win against, Manuel Torres. Don't have to look at the Tapology page for that. He slumped him and kind of schooled him on the feet and KO'd him in the second round at UFC Noche. I believe that was the Sphere card. Yeah, I'm not gonna check it because it doesn't really matter that much. But I'm pretty sure that was the Sphere card. Got a nasty KO over Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres is very good. I think Ignacio Bahamondes is just better than Tofik everywhere. I think if he wants to, he can just stay on the feet and 30-27 him. I think he could probably get a head kick KO. Tofik does throw very hard, so I do see Ignacio mixing in the grappling, kind of like Fiziev do to him. And I think he's going to get us. I'm predicting a submission heavy card here. I got one, yeah. We're going to go with Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm gonna go second round submission. I think he won't do it as fast as Overrated. I think there'll be a little more of a feeling out process. You know, maybe Ignacio will just kind of keep that range for the first round and then shoot a takedown at the end and kind of realize that's his path to victory. But I do think he's just gonna shoot takedown, kind of work him, maybe get like an arm triangle, Kimura kind of thing, or he'll just win a 30-27 based on grappling and like schooling him on the feet. That's also possible. On the prelims, though, that does have to be mentioned. This card is very weirdly set up, and I think a lot of the better fights, like Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez, Tabora, that's a heavyweight fight. I can see why they don't want to put heavyweights on main cards, especially after the colossal failure that has been the heavyweight division these last couple months. So I can see why that's kind of on the prelims. But Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson, Chase Hooper's good, and so is Ignacio Bahamondes and Tafik Musafayev. I would probably put this Ignacio Bahamondes. I'll put this as the feature fight. I really think this is the third best fight in the card. No, I think it's the second best fight in the card, part of the main event. I think it's the only good fight. I would put this in the co-main, and then I would put Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez in the feature fight. But I guess it is Alexa Grasso, Mexican and women, and so they would be in the co-main event no matter what. But I think Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tafik Musafayev easily in the feature fight, and Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez. That's gonna be a sick fight. Hometown kid, Adrian Yanez. Oh, Yanez has never really had a bad fight in UFC. Yeah, I don't know. This card layout is terrible. Genuinely god-awful. But anyway, moving up the card to the main card opener, Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Canada's going 0 for 2 on this card, I do think. I think that Terrence McKinney is going to knock out Kyle Nelson in under 3 minutes. I don't think Kyle Nelson's all that, really. He's kind of slow, and I think if you're slow against Terrence McKinney, you're probably going to get KO'd unless you hit hard and can time him coming in, which I don't think Kyle Nelson could or can. He could, but I just don't think he will. I think McKinney can take... this is another fight. Like, it's just... There's a lot of these fights where it's just like the guy can kind of win however he chooses. I think this is one of them. If Terrence McKinney wants to showcase the grappling, which he's a really good wrestler, he could. I don't see him doing it. I think he's just going to go out there and blitz Kyle Nelson and put him out in a minute 48 into the fight. KO, right hand, right in the chin. Nelson just hasn't really done anything that impressive in his career. And McKinney has. For SSYAM, that's a great win. Drew Dober. Terrence McKinney's black, so he's going to lose to Drew Dober. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe Callum Nelson will be racially motivated in this one. I doubt it. Up the card, a good fight. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Yuzuri Belguriali. Bagulri. We know who this guy is, He's the guy who brutally KO'd Asmat Bekaev, and he fought Pereira in kickboxing. He came into the Contender Series, looked really shit in both his fights, but it was like, whoa, this guy's pretty good. He fought and beat Pereira at Glory. Correction, he lost. Oh no, he did. He went 1-2. So he's fought him 3 times. I'm pretty sure he's fought Izzy. He has twice. He lost, but he is good, and he has good takedown defense. And Mansour Abdul Malik is not good. Don't let the undefeated record fool you. Who's the favorite in this fight? Wow, Mansour Abdul Malik is a favorite. That's kind of crazy. It's near even, but Mansour Abdul Malik is a slight favorite, which is really crazy in my opinion. I don't know. I think Yusuri Belguriali Yusuri is just going to keep his range on the feet, not get taken down, throw a couple of those long teeps at him, keep him at range. And he's just going to, I just think this is a fight where one of the guys was just kind of starstruck by the range and by the kickboxing ability of Yuzuri. And I think that's exactly, I don't think Mansour Malik is going to know what to do. He's probably going to shoot a double leg a minute in, get it stuffed, because Yuzuri showed really good takedown defense against Bekaev. I thought Bekaev was going to go in there and kind of ragdoll him. He is gigantic for the weight class. He's 6 foot. He's not 6'6". He's like 6'5", 6'4". But he's listed at 6'6", which is crazy. Mansour Malik is also not 6'2". He's probably like 6'1", tall 6'1". He couldn't really finish Cody Brundage without the headbutt. Like, this guy's kind of a fraud. And I've known he's a fraud kind of since his debut. He finished Tricoli. I think I could finish Tricoli. Honestly. Yeah, I'm going to go with Yuzuri by... I'm just going to put a big right hand on him, down the middle. A big right hand down the middle on the button. Puts down Mansour Malik bad. TKO. Round 2. We'll go. Julian Erosa versus Laren Douglas. I remember this guy. This guy looked pretty good on the Contender Series. He was a very interesting record. 13-5. You're kind of thinking he's 30. You're kind of thinking, oh, this guy, he's gonna come in here. This is what Julian Erosa thrives on. But it's not. He is sick power. And he's patient. He's a shot finder. He's been finished a lot in his career, but he hasn't lost in 3 years at this point. So he's on a good streak. He's on a 5-fight win streak outside the UFC. He did beat a trash can on the Contender Series. Cam Teague sucks, and he is a victim professionally. That's the guy who Kevin Vallejos destroyed in the Contender Series, but it is impressive because Douglas did it way quicker. Like, Vallejos was kind of playing with his food a little bit. Douglas just went in there and just decapitated him. It was one of the nastiest KOs I've ever seen. Yeah, it was something. It really was. If you haven't seen the KO, I highly recommend you look up Cam Teague, and you'll see him, and you'll see it. It is the highlight of Cam Teague's career, unfortunately, is him getting KO'd twice. And I think it's gonna happen again, man. Oh no, sorry, he's not fighting. Douglas is fighting. I think Douglas is gonna KO Julian Erosa. Yeah, Julian Erosa, he's crafty. He's a crafty vet. It could get a little tricky in the later rounds, but I don't think it's going to go there. This is one where I would probably live bet, see if Douglas kind of gassed himself out a bit going for a finish in the first round, because then is where I could see, Julian Erosa kind of putting it together and coming back for a crafty decision, a crafty submission. But I just, I kind of see, it's hard to see for me. It's hard for me to see Julian Erosa beating anyone, even though he just went to a crazy fight with Milky Costa. I'll just say that. Makes it easier. Yeah. Like, he can't make it tough for guys, and maybe he will. Maybe I'm overlooking Julian Erosa here, just on the fact that Douglas has KO power, but Erosa's old, man. He is so old. He is 36. Douglas isn't a young guy. He's 30, but that's like prime. The gunslinger. I think the gunslinger is going to sling some guns all over Julian Erosa. Juicy J is going out cold, I think. Round 1. KO. He's just going to be able to back him up, I think. Unless, Julian Erosa, he could make it crafty with the knees, maybe. Clinching him up. Making it, dirty. But this is just, I gotta go with. You gotta pick Douglas here, and then if Erosa gets it, then, this is one where I think everyone's kind of gonna pick Douglas, and if Erosa does it, it'll be like, it's him proving the doubters wrong once again. It's what Julian Erosa loves to do. I don't see it, though, in this fight. Moving up for the card to the feature fight, which is supposed to be the third best fight on the card. We got Old Man Chiesa versus Fossil Nico Price. I hear voices in the air. I hear them loud and clear. Chiesa is a minus 500 favorite. I know Nico Price sucks, and he's so chinny, and a gust of wind could knock him out. But at minus 500? What has Michael Chiesa done recently to be a minus 500 favorite? Beat washed Tony Ferguson? The Dodo Bird might be able to beat a washed Tony Ferguson at this point. That camera, this table is so wobbly. Jesus Christ, it's whatever. I'll go with Chiesa. I'm going to go with decision, man. Chiesa fucking sucks. So does Nico Price, but, he probably will submit him. I don't see it, though. I think he'll get a 30-27. Just kind of lay and pray. Probably get booed out of the arena in his hometown. This should be like the first fight on the card. This is genuinely the worst fight on the card, probably. I would rather watch Alexa Tayanara versus Bruna Brazil 150 times than watch this fight once. And it's in the feature fight. It's going to kill the whole momentum of the card. Moving up to another fight that'll probably kill the momentum of the card. It could be fun. Their last fight wasn't. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Hold on now. I'm going to go Alexa Grasso. I know she won their first fight. Macy Barber had one of the worst performances in UFC history in their first fight. Like, it was genuinely Ricky Turcios maxing the whole fight. That was right after she lost to Roxanne Modafferi. People forget, man, the craftiest vet of them all. But yeah, so maybe that's why she looked really bad in that fight, and then she got the Miranda Maverick decision that was really iffy too. I don't remember the De La Rosa fight. I don't remember. She's just done nothing impressive, man. Amanda Ribas is also not very good. And that's like her big finish. Like her big hold on now. She's here. She's here and she's ready. Like, if you've gone on a 2, 4, 6, a 7-fight win streak, and I can't remember a single thing from one of your fights, that's not a good thing. You know, I can remember stuff from Alexa Grasso fights. Not her last couple, but she did submit Valentina Shevchenko, which is very impressive. And I thought she, no, I thought it was a draw. No, what did I think? I can't remember what I thought of the rematch, but I remember everyone was saying it was a robbery, and maybe I thought I can't remember. They gave Mace or Alexa Grasso a 10-8 when she shouldn't have gotten it. And then she got laid. And then Valentina became Dagestani. That was the beginning of it. Valentina said, fuck this shit. I'm just going to fucking lay on these girls. Yeah. And she lost Natalia Silva. I think Natalia Silva is the best women's flyweight on the roster right now. So, you know, you lose to 1-2 and the best in the world. You beat Macy Barber. I think this will be a nice rebound for Alexa Grasso. Macy Barber. Oh my God, that's right. She had a seizure backstage. Okay. That's the most memorable thing about her last 7 fights or 8 fights. She's pulled out so much. She had a seizure backstage because of her tit implant. Allegedly. That's what people said. That's not me saying it. That's the people saying it. Yeah, so I think Grasso will be able to craft this up to a decision. Pretty easily. It'll probably be pretty boring. It'll probably be a split decision, I'll say. Yeah, split decision, Alexa Grasso. I think she'll be able to mix it up. I think she's kind of better on the feet. Maybe Macy has the edge on the ground, and maybe that's where Macy kind of finds success, but I don't really see it. I don't see it at all. I think Alexa Grasso is going to get it done. Pretty easily. No, not easily. It'll be a split decision because, you know. Yeah. You know. Anyway, on to the main event. The only good fight on this card. Israel Adesanya versus B. Joe Pyfer. Will the body bag get it done? Bodybagz, Joe Pyfer. Will the body cam come off is the question. It's so close because, you know, now, I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya. Decision. Yeah, I think he'll be able to kind of skirt around that range for the first 2 rounds. I think Pyfer's going to have a really hard time tracking him down. And you can't turn off the body cam if you don't catch him. You know, he's running. You got to catch him, Joe Pyfer. You can't just turn off the body cam and let him run around the octagon. That's what he's going to do, man. This is going to be a vintage, boring decision. Title Izzy. This is going to be prime, boring Israel Adesanya. Clinching him up against the cage. You know. Boom, boom. Little couple little body shots. He might grab his ass because Izzy likes to do that. Little Marvin Vettori style. Yeah. I just don't think Pyfer is going to be able to track him. You know, if you can't figure out Jack Hermanson, I know it's been a while since that fight, but if you can't really track down Jack Hermanson, I don't see how you're going to track down Israel Adesanya. You know, maybe he could catch him, of course, but, you know, Marc-Andre Barriault that's a good win to, like, KO him, you know, because, you know, after that, I thought Marc-Andre is just going to be KO'd by everyone, and it kind of aged really badly, but that win has aged not bad, you know. Shara couldn't do it. A lot of guys can't do it. Olazechek couldn't do it. You know, they went to like a pretty scrappy decision, and he couldn't find the shot to put him out. So putting him out like instantly into the fight and just blitzing him and putting him out is pretty impressive. But since then, he doesn't do that. You know, that's the unfortunate thing. Like, you gotta finish Calvin Gastelum at this point. You know, like that was kind of the next step was brutally KO Calvin Gastelum, get a big win and a big finish over a guy that everyone knows, where he can propel you up the rankings. He didn't do that. He ended up going for like a good, clear decision, and he kind of just picked around Kevin Gastelum. And then he fought Abbas, Abbas gasses after a round. He submitted him. If you grapple Abbas at all, he will gas. If you go past the first round with him, he will gas. He broke his arm against Dustin Stoltzfus in his first Contender Series fight, of course, and then he won the second time. But I just think Izzy's gonna be able to skirt around. This is gonna be a vintage, dude. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a vintage, boring, 5-round skirt around the cage, leg kick, couple jabs, couple leg kicks, body kick. Whoa, we missed a big spinning heel kick. That'll be the big moments of the round. It'll be, whoa, we just missed that one. Don't let him get close. And it'll be, oh, Pyfer just missed a right hand. And that'll kind of be the story of it. I think. I know. I don't know. But I'm pretty confident. I think Joe Pyfer is overrated. That is what I'm trying to get across. He hits hard. He can grapple. He has he has everything you need to be a great middleweight, and he's just not, unfortunately, I think. So I think Izzy, and this is a huge step up. That is also something that needs to be pointed out. Going from Abus Magomedov to Israel Adesanya. I mean, come on, duh. This is gonna be one where everyone's kind of split on it, and then after the fight, all these guys are coming out of the woodwork saying, "How could you pick Joe Pyfer? How did anyone pick Joe Pyfer? He's those fights, those type of fights. I'm trying to think. We've seen these kind of fights before where the guy gets a step way too far up, way too quickly, and I've played these games before. I've played them before. I've seen how this story goes. I don't think Joe Pyfer is skilled enough to set a trap on the feet oh my god, Nasruddin Imavov is. Because Nasruddin Imavov is very technically sound. He's very good on the feet. And he was able to set that trap with the right hand. I don't think Joe Pyfer has the ability to do that. Maybe he could mix it up, but I think Joe Pyfer has a window to win this fight, and it's the first 3 rounds. He needs to go 1, 2, 3, win. He needs to win the first 3 and then kind of, let Izzy kind of keep him at range for the next 2. Or he needs to finish Izzy in those 3 rounds. And I think once it goes past the second round, we're going to see Joe Pyfer kind of really slow down. And once we get into those championship rounds, I think we're going to see real contender Izzy start to come out. Not enough to finish him or anything, but I think we'll see a 1-2 little shovel uppercut to the body kind of thing. And we'll be like, whoa, hold on now. He can still, he's exciting. And people will be saying that fight was awesome because of the last 2 rounds where Joe Pyfer was gassed. And I think the bodybagz is going to turn into a punching bag in the last 2 rounds, I think, 4 and 5. I think Izzy's it'll be close the first 3. And Joe Pyfer maybe will be stalking him down. Maybe he'll take him down a couple times. Can Joe Pyfer grapple for 5 rounds straight? No, he will gas out. He could, I just think he's gonna have a hard time chasing Izzy. I think he'll gas. I think chasing Izzy around the octagon, I think it'll make him gas. I think the 5 rounds greatly benefits Adesanya. And yeah, I think we get a crafty Israel Adesanya. What do we say? I'll say 49-46. I think Pyfer wins the first round. Pyfer might drop him in a round, so I'll go 48-47. I think Pyfer will win the first round off grappling, kind of push big, kind of out-strengthening him in that first round, out exploding him. Pause in the first round, and I think he will. But I think past that, Izzy's got this. I think he'll drop him. I do think I could see Pyfer dropping. I just don't think you think he's gonna brutally KO Izzy? Maybe. He hits harder than Ngannou. Maybe. We don't really know. He hit harder on the machine. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Izzy. 48-47. Close fight. Kind of boring, but Izzy gets it done. You know, he's back. We start looking at Izzy in title elimination bouts. Life is good again. Boring. Izzy is back. The guy we need. We need an Israel Adesanya win in the big 2026. We really do. It's been too long. You know, maybe he'll jerk off a dog backstage and get a little power up coming here sharp. But yeah, I got Izzy. I got Alexa Grasso. I got Chiesa. I got Douglas. I got Yusuri Belgarelli. This bit okay. I got Terrence McKinney. I got Ignacio Bahamondes. I got Chase Hooper. I got Marcin Tybura. I got Gabby Fernandez. I got Navajo Sterling, the white Adesanya. I got both. I got black Adesanya and white Adesanya winning on the same card. You can't make it up. It's poetry. This is Shakespeare level stuff. I got Ricky Simone, and then I got Alexa Tayanara. That'll do it for the first inaugural breakdown video, the first inaugural video of SpotMMA. Thank you so much for watching. I know no one probably is, but hey, we gotta start somewhere, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Have a good one. Peace, boys.